broadly support Simone's decision and applaud her bravery in prioritizing her well-being. Her courage shows yet again why she is a role model for so many. USAG
maybe she loses a set. If Simone Biles loses her confidence, loses her mojo, she's up in the air doing those flips, it could mean like a devastating injury for her.
Let's face it,
It's really
insane.
kind of
Well, wait a minute. She's an Olympic athlete. That's her job. She's supposed to get out there and perform under pressure.
But we're also humans, right?
Yeah.
You
So
know,
what would you
that's-
say to them?
Exactly that. I mean, we're human beings. We have emotions. We deal with things just
Athletes prioritizing their health and well-being has been at the forefront of the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. And while that may sound like a given, after all, these are the highest performing physical specimens on Earth, the public is being exposed more than ever to the hardships often hidden by the podium steps or outshined by the glimmer of Olympic medals.
Yeah. I had no idea it would be as big, mental health, as big as what it is now.
On this daily episode from the ground, we explore the mental toll of chasing gold and the triumphs that come with facing the lows of high-level sport.
Watching Simone, that's definitely going to help me teach my kids, she's taught me to be able to teach them that anything is possible. It's okay to be human. It's okay to make mistakes.
From NBC Sports, this is The Podium, a podcast about the Tokyo Olympic Games. Coming to you daily during the Games, we'll bring you the stories shaping the greatest athletic competition in all the world, held in extraordinary times.
This podcast is presented by NordicTrack from iFit. It takes a strong body and a strong mind to achieve. With NordicTrack from iFit, we train both body and mind to empower you to be what you want. Work out with world-class trainers as they guide you through heart-pumping cardio, strength, and more. Train your mind as our experts guide you through mindfulness and meditation sessions. Be part of a community that is striving to be their best selves. Be what you want. NordicTrack from iFit. Use code iFit to receive a free heart rate monitor with equipment purchase at NordicTrack.com.
And about 16 hours after that, USA Gymnastics with a statement after further medical evaluation. Simone Biles has withdrawn from the final individual all-around competition at the Tokyo Olympic Games in order to focus on her mental health. Simone will continue to be evaluated daily to determine whether or not to participate.
Simone Biles may be the most notable athlete to raise awareness on the issue of mental health at these games. We spoke to her teammate, Michaela Skinner, who's well-positioned to give insight into the challenges of being expected to soar amid all the pressure.
And here come the numbers now. She knows she's on the podium. It's going to be a silver medal from Michaela Skinner right behind Rebecca.
Michaela Skinner, United States, and I won the silver medal on vault.
Michaela, the U.S. women's gymnastics team has been very much in the spotlight these games. A lot of talk from the outside world, but I'm so curious what it's been like within the team.
It's been kind of crazy. It was very unexpected. So I feel like we've definitely had to handle situations that we've never been in before. Just with, even media and what everyone's been saying, it's just been so crazy. And I feel like our heads have kind of been all over the place. So I feel like we've really had to, come in close, bring each other in and just try to support each other every way possible.
I hear you say the word unexpected. Did you guys have to change course in terms of preparation?
It's kind of hard to say because I feel like we were seriously mentally and physically so prepared, and I feel like we were ready to come in and dominate. And I know there is a lot of pressure on the table, and it's different. Jordan's never had, very much experience, and it's the Olympic Games, so it's something that's very, very different. And we've been to Worlds, so I know Worlds is kind of similar. It's still a really big stage, and it's a big event, but when you're at the Olympic Games and you're wanting to go after those medals, it does get hard. And in prelims, that's where you qualify for everything. So I feel like we really put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we're like, oh, we want to make it in this and this and this. But I feel like what we really needed to do was just focus on making it into team finals, and then where everything else plays, then you take it in. But I just feel like, we did have that pressure, so it did get a little bit too much. But this is a learning experience for everybody, and I feel like we went out there and did the best that we could, and having that bond with each other and just being super supportive has just made this so much better. And watching Simone go through what she's been going through, it's really cool to see her support on the other end. And it's weird not seeing her out on the floor, but seeing her in the stands and how she's taken on that role to just be that teammate. And even though she's not out there winning those medals, she's excited for us, so it's been a wild experience.
And it's been a journey for you after having COVID, not qualifying initially for a final in what you thought would be your last Olympics. You're here with a silver medal. You thought it was done.
Like, I was seriously going to fly home and, leave. And because I was like, I know I could be in the vault lineup, but I was like, well, we'll see how team finals goes. And I'm like, vault finals are the first individual finals to go. So I was like, they'll be fine. It's Jade and Simone. Like, they're going to be fine. So I guess that was maybe bad on my part to think, they were going to be fine, because I guess you never know. But I mean, everything happens for a reason. So it's just really cool that I was able to step in and do what I needed to do for the team.
What a ride. And with Simone bringing attention to mental health for Olympians, how did her experience change your own here in Tokyo?
I think she's definitely been a bigger role model to me than I feel like she ever has. I mean, she's, been the GOAT of gymnastics, and it's been really cool to be with her and be that teammate. But to see her go through something like this that I've never seen before, and how she's dealt with it, it has seriously brought me back to different memories or different challenges that I've had. And just, really looking back on I, didn't always have things go the way that I wanted it either, but just seeing how much stronger I came out of it. And for Simone, even though she didn't walk away with 5 medals, look where she's walking now. She's helped generations and generations of girls coming up knowing that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. We're all human. And so for me, that's going to last with me for a lifetime and help me through any other situation. And, obviously, I'm retiring now, but I mean, you never know. There could be a comeback, or, Simone could make a comeback, even though she's saying she's done. So I really hope that this can, just help us in the future with our gymnastics. And it's going to help me for a lifetime for sure.
It's something you'll take with you, I'm sure. And I hear her through the TV screen. I mean, she's vocal, cheering you on from the stands. Were you too focused, or did you hear her?
Oh, I heard her. It was crazy. I mean, obviously there's not a ton of fans in there, so it was really obvious to point out, certain screams and, their voices. I was talking about it earlier in some of my other interviews when I was running down the vault on my second vault. I could hear Simone, and I was like, oh my, as I'm running, I'm just hearing her, and I'm like, I feel like I've never really noticed that before. I hear people cheering, when you get up on the podium, you can hear them cheering. But usually, once you start going, you're, in that zone. And I feel like you kind of just block everything out. But Simone was cheering so freaking loud. I could hear her. And that just, kind of gave me that extra little nudge of, you got this. Go, as I was running. So it was super cool. I feel like, Simone really wanted me to have this. And so it was really cool to take this opportunity since it had opened up, and to kind of do this for us. And I know she doesn't want me to say that it was for us or for her, but, I really wanted to go out there and, show her that, I'm going to take this seriously and I can do this and win a medal for the both of us since she couldn't be out there.
When you tour together in the village, Michaela, are you able to still just talk about gymnastics? I mean, the conversation has gotten so much bigger around the team that I'm wondering if you can still bring it right back down to, hey, how about those uneven bars?
Yeah, totally. I mean, every day I'm like, how's it going? How's practice? We talk about gym all the time, and I know with everything that's going on, she's super stressed, and there's a lot that she's, having to think about. But I think it's sometimes good to talk about those struggles and to talk about gym and talk about what's going on. And even in the meet, even when we're sitting in the stands, we're like, oh, we really want her to do good. Oh, she's awesome. And then we're sitting there and then Simone's up there laughing, busting out jokes from when she had her weird, vault, and was saying all these funny things and just really being uplifting. And so I feel like even though we're talking about gymnastics, it really doesn't, I feel mess with us or, get in our heads. I feel like we can talk about it and she's okay and just kind of makes jokes about it. So I feel like that kind of helps her to kind of, stay positive in a way, to be able to laugh about it and not take it so seriously. So.
Sure, you help each other out. It's what teammates are for, right? Before you knew you'd be putting the leotard back on for the vault finals, you spoke openly about this being your last Olympics and wanting kids.
Yeah. I'm like, if I could have a baby right now, I would.
Do you think the reaction to Simone's withdrawals or just the pressure put on top of athletes maybe might change the kind of parent you hope to be?
Definitely. I mean, I feel like it's kind of scary bringing him into the world that, is today. I mean, I feel like a lot of people can be very critical and judgmental, and, there's so many standards that people want to see you at. But, Jonas, my husband, he's like, I don't want to put my kids in gymnastics. He's like, it's a tough sport. And, even him coming to the gym and seeing these little girls that are trying to do the LEAP program and they just sit there and cry every day because it's so hard. He's like, I don't want to put my kids through that. And so I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens. But I mean, I'm excited to have kids, and I'm excited that I've had these experiences and I know how I got through them. And, watching Simone, like, that's definitely going to help me teach my kids, what she's taught me, to be able to teach them that anything is possible. It's okay to be human. It's okay to make mistakes. Like, look at how many people still love Simone. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that have attacked her, but like, the biggest picture is that she's human and we all still love her, and she's still going to be amazing, whether she walks home with 5 medals or doesn't. So, yeah, I'm excited to have kids. If I could have an Olympic baby, I would. If Jonas was here right now, we would have an Olympic baby. I'm just kidding. That would be fun, but we'll see when I have kids. Hopefully in a couple years, but.
In a couple of years, and I'm sure you'll tell your kids about these Olympic Games. What will you tell them? What do you associate this experience with?
There's like so many thoughts. It's just been so crazy to look at everything that I've been through, going back to even 2016, and I've been an alternate 3 different times for Worlds twice and the Olympics, and then going to college and, I kind of didn't really like gymnastics anymore. And I feel like once I went to college, I really regained the love for the sport and really found out why I loved it. And I feel like just all the trials that I've been through, it was really hard to feel like I was actually happy with myself. Like, I know I made the Olympic team and that was super, super exciting, but going into Olympic trials, my main goal was to make the 4-man team, because he was already, they already had picked, Jade went and done, a bunch of those qualifiers to qualify for the individual spot. But I was like, well, me and her are the same gymnast, so that's kind of dumb, for me to, go into that second individual spot. So this whole time I've been working for that one goal was to be on the 4-man team, and then having to change my mindset and going in as an individual spot was really hard. And, I kept telling my parents and my husband, and I'm just like, I just never feel like I've accomplished something, I feel like I've always wanted this and it never goes the way I want it to. But from having those trials and those things happen, it's definitely just made me stronger, and it makes me work harder. And now I feel like that I was able to go out there. I felt like I had unfinished business. So even though I still went out and competed in the Olympics, and everyone's like, it's okay, you're an Olympian, people can't take that away from you. That's so cool that you got to say you competed in the Olympics and you had the best meet of your life. That was a way to end. But I was like, no, the way I wanted to end was to be able to go and win a medal, even if it was for the team, at least I would have gotten a team medal, So for me to be able to have the opportunity to go out there and finally win a medal, I really feel like I finished what I started. So this medal seriously means everything that I've been through, all the hard work, all the blood, sweat, and tears, and just everyone's love and support behind me. So it's been so cool. So I'm so grateful to go home with this silver medal.
Support for this podcast comes from Facebook. The world of skateboarding is changing, with more skaters than ever coming together on social platforms to do amazing new things. Like in Ghana, where Joshua O'Dampton created Ghana's first skate crew on WhatsApp, then teamed up with Sandy Alibo on Instagram and expanded it from a small community inspired by skaters abroad to a culture that now inspires skaters and fashionistas all over the world in return. We change the game when we find each other. To learn more about Joshua and Sandy's story, visit facebook.com/changethegame.
This summer, Olympians and Paralympians are hosting live interactive experiences on Airbnb. Hang out with all-time greats and rising stars from all over the world. Get closer to the games with experiences live from Tokyo. Learn how to cultivate a winning attitude and more. Get to know athletes like never before through Airbnb Experiences. Check it out at airbnb.com.
Adeline Gray won her first Olympic medal when she notched silver in women's 76-kilogram wrestling.
Adeline Gray of Team USA takes silver.
Her maiden victory in Tokyo follows the grappling with and ultimately pinning down of the right work-life balance.
My name is Adeline Gray. I'm in women's freestyle wrestling at the 76-kilogram weight division, and I just won the silver medal.
And congratulations. This result is the kind you've said you were hoping to notch in Rio. Tell me about Adeline Gray in the lead up to the 2016 games.
That's a good question. I had gone undefeated for 2.5 years leading up to Rio. I unfortunately got hurt, and I thought I was okay. And I had some rough training and a lot of just wear and tear on the body. And went into Rio with my best intentions to go walk away with a gold medal. And unfortunately, I did not do that. I got a pin in my first match, and then I lost in my second round. And it was heartbreaking. I hadn't been put out of a tournament in a very long time, and it just was it was definitely devastating. But it was also interesting because I kind of came back from that experience, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" This is like, they just had this idea that this was going to be life-changing. And I had one of the best days of my life that night. And I enjoyed my experience in Rio, and I enjoyed being on Team USA and becoming an Olympian. And I got a pin at the Olympic level, and I really felt like there were successes in that journey. And so to come into this next Olympics, I just felt like there was just more to be gained.
And you've clearly got a great outlook on it now, but you were in a different place physically then, right?
Yeah, leading up to 2016, we had a grueling quad. It had been challenging just to keep up the momentum that I had built throughout that quad, and leading into a very big event. I felt tired, and unfortunately, that caught up to me leading into that event. And so there was that pain piece that I keep kind of coming back to, and that wears on you mentally, to come in every day and have pain. And I tried to tell myself that I was okay, and I ended up needing an entire year to come back, and probably about 3 years before my shoulder was really good enough to feel confident enough to say that it's a great shoulder. So it's challenging to work with that mentally and physically, to not have your body where you want it to be. And it's still a challenge. You know, my sport is brutal and it causes pain, and you have to find ways to work with that.
What's the balance? Balancing out a sport that's full of aggression and this desire to excel with some easier things?
A healthier life balance? Yes. I was very, very tunnel visioned, eat, sleep, breathe wrestling. And I had been doing it for a very long time. And it's tough to do that. It's tough to not be able to see your friends and not be able to have a vacation every now and then, and have your whole world kind of be consumed with just that. So I think I am doing a much better job at enjoying some of the little things that you can still be able to build a home and have friends and be able to go see those friends. And I took a job where I was able to help coach at a Wyoming Seminary University, or not university, it's a high school, at Wyoming Seminary. And it just was, it was some good changes for me. I did get married in 2017, which was so much fun. My husband's wonderful, and we've been enjoying, we typically don't live together, which is not traditional, but it's kind of fun because we get to go and travel and meet each other in cool places. But we've been in the same place recently, which has been nice. We both live in Colorado Springs currently. And so it's been great. I got my master's degree, got that finished up. And I have just kind of had a little bit more autonomy over my training and built a support system around me that has allowed me to, I think, really thrive in being able to make gains where I need to, but also have a little bit more balance when it comes to enjoying my life as an adult.
It's a delicate work-life balance we all wish to strike, right? You clearly enjoy competing and pushing yourself. How will you look back at these games?
No one wants second, it's a silver medal is definitely not what you are hoping for by any means. And so, but with that said, this medal is so beautiful, and I got it set into my hands, and I was really excited. I get to call myself an Olympic medalist, and that's something I did not get to do before this moment. And so it's special. It's something I get to put on my resume. It's something that I am very proud of. And it's something that if I had not come back after 2016 to wrestle would have never happened. And so everything, these last 2 world titles I've won, this current medal that I'm holding now, they're 3 things that I get to enjoy and add to my resume.
Body and Mind Moments, presented by NordicTrack from iFit.
Great run for Jordan Barrett. That's going to be a big score for Jordan Barrett. That was one of the best. That was one of the best runs I've ever seen.
One shot at a feature, so pretty high stakes. Once you've got your run in your head, Jordan, do you replay it in your mind over and over?
Yeah, that's definitely visualization has definitely been a big part on helping me do well in contests. It's skating for me is as much mental as it is physical. I do these tricks. I skate every day. I know I can do them, but if my head is just a little off or a little at a different place or whatever, I'm not feeling great that day, I will probably not land my run. And I totally could, I physically can, but mentally I was just a little off. And so, yeah, sitting, in a quiet space right before a contest and kind of sitting there and visualizing, listening to music, getting myself excited, that type of thing really helps me.
Body and Mind Moments, presented by NordicTrack from iFit.
You're one of the few in the world who can truly empathize with someone like Simone Biles going into the Olympics as the heavy favorite, that amount of pressure. Is it tough?
I had to detach myself from it a little bit because I felt that stress, and I understand that there is expectation that comes, and we try our best to build tools to allow ourselves to thrive in these moments, and we spend a lot of time and effort and energy to do that. I mean, I know Simone is definitely working with a sports psychologist and developing those mental tools, and I know it's something that I've spent a large part of the pandemic doing and hoping that it would get me to a place where I could walk away with some hardware, and thankfully I think both of us are walking away with some medals. It may not be in the same manner that other people are looking for, but it's still hardware. It's still something we're proud of. It's still something that can also be replicated and shown to the world that it's important to have mental health be something that we can talk about openly and that we can address it. And it's the stress that we kind of have leading up to these events is tough, but it's also something that we can do. We can do hard things, and you can create tools that allow us to deal with these, not just within sport, but also within our lives. And I think a lot of people in the pandemic had that highlighted, that we are missing some tools as a society, as individuals, as people who are scared to be sad and scared to have some low moments that feel like they might last a little longer than you want them to. And it's about trusting yourself and finding the ways to find that even keel or those neutral thoughts to some extent. It's sometimes a positive thought might be too far away. And that's something that my coach and I really had to narrow in on leading up to these last few months of this Olympics, is just neutral thoughts and getting ourselves to a place where we could then build to a positive, confident athlete. But it's definitely a conversation that I think is important. And I really hope that people all around the world just realize how vital it is to have skills that you can use, not within sport, but also within our lives.
That's so well said. We see a lot that the Olympics are like the rest of life, right? Filled with highs and lows. Tell us about a high point and a low point mentally for you in these games.
I think a really joyous moment was getting that medal set into my hand. I mean, I just had this flood of joy that I was like, I am an Olympic medalist, and my mom is going to be so happy that she gets to hold this medal. And I just couldn't think of anything else but my mom just being like, you are an Olympic medalist, and just being so excited. And I can't wait to bring this medal home to her and just show her and be able to share this with so many people, because it for my sport especially, this is it. You know, the Olympics is the biggest thing that we do. The World Championships are big, but people don't understand what they are. And so being a 5-time world champion doesn't really connect with a lot of people. But the Olympic medal, they understand that. That's once every 4 years. It's something that the world gets behind and is excited about. And so to be able to say that and have that brand recognition behind my legacy and my career now is important. And it's going to help just kind of elevate my ability to talk to people and relate to them and have them understand that women in sports are thriving and moving in the right direction. And it's just it's a positive thing all around. I think the low point for me is just the realization that some of this isn't fun, and that's okay. You know, it's this is hard. We push our bodies, we push our minds, and you have to have such extreme focus, and that's tiring. It's very exhausting to have that focus. And I think that just that realization that it's okay, you know. Like I remember I was talking to my sister, who's my training partner, and I was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to be here right now. I don't know if I want to be doing this. And my sister asked me, she's like, well, is anybody on the team in a better situation? I was like, no, we're all nervous wreck. Every single one of us are just like, we want this so badly, and we are working so hard every single moment that it almost consumes you and losing sight of some of those fun moments. And so I do think my team's done a good job of making sure we step out and we are enjoying each other. We're enjoying the ability to be around a strong group of women that's incredible and inspiring and motivating. And it's awesome to be motivated. I think every single person in the world needs to find ways to motivate themselves. And I am lucky enough to have a group of stellar human beings that just allow me to be motivated on a consistent basis. And I think that's something that my team as a wrestling unit can have and kind of teach the world, but also Team USA. You know, my sister and I have been doing a warm up every day before practice just to kind of disconnect from wrestling. And we go through each of my favorite medalists, I would call them, my friends essentially from Team USA. So, but it's fun. We just, we throw a ball and we name one of the softball players, and then we do the shot put and we're like, oh, this is Dina Carter. And then Maggie Stiffens with water polo. And then we name Ava for the rugby. And we just go through this kind of shoulder warm up essentially. But it's fun to kind of name these women and have Kara, come to mind when you throw the javelin, and just have these names that are truly incredible human beings and badass women who are doing really cool stuff. And I get to be inspired by them and have personal relationships with these people. And it's not that far away for a lot of young girls to have those role models and be able to realize how special some of these human beings are and how hard they're truly working.
Special and yet human. Think of your favorite Olympians. Do we react the same way when the medical situation is mental as opposed to physical? When the world is expecting these athletes to be pushing the limits, it's easy to forget that you first need to bump up against them, perhaps even get a bit shaken, and then dig in. Olympians are special, but still human. Follow The Podium now on Amazon Music and wherever you're listening to get automatic downloads. And tune into the networks of NBC to watch it all unfold.
This podcast is presented by NordicTrack from iFit.